Prince Harry is said to be in total panic after Tom Bower, the fearless investigative author who has ripped open some of the royals' darkest chapters, dropped his most explosive claim yet. According to Bower, the carefully guarded mystery surrounding the Sussex children, Archie and Lilibet, may not be what the world has been told. Whispers of surrogacy, secrecy, and even questions over biological parentage are now flooding the media. And for Harry, whose fragile reputation was already cracking, this is nothing short of catastrophic. The man once hailed as Diana's brave son now finds himself mocked as either a fool who was kept in the dark, or worse, a conspirator in one of the greatest royal deceptions of the modern era. The palace remains silent, but the public demand for truth, including calls for DNA tests, grows louder by the day. From the very start of Meghan and Harry's marriage, secrecy has been their weapon of choice. Carefully staged announcements, choreographed photos, and sudden withdrawals from public duties all fed into their narrative of privacy. Yet, ironically, the very silence they demanded only ignited more curiosity. And now, Tom Bower's revelations have set fire to the one story they could never afford to lose control of: the birth and true origins of Archie Harrison Mountbatten-Windsor and Lilibet Diana Mountbatten-Windsor. Harry's anger, according to palace insiders, is volcanic. Those close to him describe frantic phone calls, sleepless nights, and near breakdowns as the press digs deeper into timelines, birth certificates, and inconsistencies surrounding Meghan's pregnancies. The infamous moon bump debates, once dismissed as internet conspiracy theories, are now being revisited with forensic precision. Bower's claims don't simply resurface these questions. They legitimize them. For Harry, this is a nightmare. His children are his shield, his last defense against critics who say he has abandoned his royal duties, betrayed his family, and sold his privacy for profit. To question their very existence as biological heirs is to strike at the core of everything he has left. And yet, the harder he fights back, the more the story gains momentum. Tom Bower's reputation precedes him. He is no gossip columnist, no fringe blogger. He is the man who has taken on oligarchs, tycoons, and royals with equal ferocity. His research is meticulous, his sources deeply embedded. When Bower speaks, the establishment listens and trembles. His new exposé does not merely hint at inconsistencies. It boldly asserts that the official narrative of Archie and Lilibet's births was manipulated, concealed, and possibly falsified. According to Bower, multiple hospital staff members, legal aides, and even former royal employees have raised quiet concerns about how both children came into the world. Their testimonies point toward a coordinated effort to shield the truth, raising the possibility that Meghan never carried either child to term. Bower highlights striking red flags: Meghan's vanishing public appearances during supposed late-term pregnancy, the refusal to allow hospital photographers at the births, and the unprecedented secrecy surrounding the birth certificates. Unlike other royal births, there are no traditional hospital steps photos, no medical bulletins signed off by trusted physicians, no transparency whatsoever. Instead, the Sussexes offered heavily edited photos, carefully staged home interviews, and evasive answers whenever journalists pressed for details. For Harry, this isn't just about family honor. It's about survival. His aggressive defense of Meghan in past interviews now looks less like loyalty and more like complicity. Critics argue that by shutting down questions with anger and insults, Harry effectively acted as Meghan's enforcer, silencing journalists and branding skeptics as racist or deranged. But what if, they now ask, the people demanding answers were right all along? What if Harry knowingly participated in hiding the truth about his own children's origins? The idea is chilling. The once beloved prince is being recast as a man willing to deceive not only his family, but also the monarchy, the media, and the millions who once trusted him. Even worse, insiders suggest that Meghan has been the architect of this entire strategy, with Harry playing the role of blind follower. Friends of the royal family say privately that William and Charles always doubted Meghan's stories, but chose silence to avoid public scandal. That silence, however, may now come back to haunt them. If Bower's claims gain traction, the monarchy itself could be accused of covering up the truth to protect Harry, a scandal far bigger than anything since the days of Edward VIII. The central question, one that burns through every newspaper column and late-night talk show, is brutally simple. Are Archie and Lilibet truly Harry's biological children? If the answer is no, the implications are seismic. It would mean the line of succession has been tainted, that two children presented as royal heirs may not even belong to the bloodline they claim. It would also mean Harry knowingly misled his family, the public, and the crown itself, a betrayal almost too great to fathom. This is why calls for DNA testing have exploded in recent weeks. Veteran commentators, former courtiers, and even members of Parliament are beginning to suggest that the only way to end speculation is with scientific proof. Yet Harry, true to form, refuses to engage. His silence, however, speaks volumes. Each refusal to address the issue only fuels suspicions that there is something to hide. While Harry rages in private, Meghan appears eerily calm. Friends describe her as strategic, always thinking 3 steps ahead, as though she anticipated the storm long before it arrived. Some believe she sees Bower's revelations not as a threat, but as an opportunity, a chance to cast herself as the victim of relentless persecution, to once again play the role of the woman hounded by the press. But even Meghan cannot control the narrative forever. Social media, once her greatest weapon, has turned vicious. Former supporters are asking uncomfortable questions, replaying interviews, dissecting photographs, and noticing details that now look suspicious in hindsight. The optics are damning. Her shifting belly sizes, her carefully concealed hospital visits, her refusal to allow independent confirmation of the births. Every piece of the puzzle adds to the growing sense that something has always been off. Prince Harry's fury only intensified when he realized this wasn't a rumor destined to vanish in the cycle of gossip. Tom Bower's name carries too much weight. For decades, Bower has been a thorn in the side of powerful figures, from politicians to tycoons, and his royal exposes have proven more accurate than anyone in the palace would have liked. When he writes, the world listens. And now, in front of an international audience, he has implied that the Sussex children's identities are cloaked in fabrication. For Harry, the fear is no longer just reputational damage. It is existential. If the foundation of his family life is called into question, then every interview, every Netflix deal, and every Oprah-style confession begins to look like a stage performance played out on lies. The more Harry tried to ignore the noise, the louder it became. British tabloids lit up with speculation, not holding back in dissecting every photograph of Archie and Lilibet, every timeline Meghan ever gave of her pregnancies, every slip in interviews that hinted at inconsistencies. Analysts revisited the infamous hospital photo calls, noting how Meghan and Harry repeatedly broke from royal tradition by refusing transparency around their children's births. At the time, supporters hailed it as a modern, private approach. Now, it reads to critics as deliberate concealment. What once seemed progressive now feels suspicious. Inside Montecito, sources suggest panic mode has taken over. Meghan, ever the strategist, is said to be pushing for immediate damage control, framing the narrative as yet another smear campaign from bitter royal insiders. Harry, however, is less composed. His anger, reportedly, is not only at Bower, but also at the growing realization that allies once loyal to him are no longer defending him. Major U.S. outlets that once lavished glowing coverage on the Sussexes have shifted tone, cautiously reporting the controversy instead of dismissing it outright. The silence of these allies feels like betrayal, and Harry knows it. Meanwhile, the palace's silence is its own kind of thunder. King Charles has resisted pressure to issue any statement. Prince William, privately fuming at what he sees as Harry dragging the monarchy into yet another scandal, has doubled down on his distance. For both men, there is no incentive to defend Harry this time. They know that even if the claims are exaggerated, the stain has already set in. To intervene would risk entangling the crown itself in a scandal of paternity and deception. By letting Harry stew in isolation, Charles and William shield the monarchy while watching their estranged relatives self-destruct in public. The controversy has also ignited new calls within Britain for hard accountability. Legal voices argue that since Archie and Lilibet remain in the line of succession, clarity on their parentage isn't just public curiosity, it's constitutional necessity. Commentators demand Parliament take an interest, noting that if there's even a shadow of doubt, the integrity of the monarchy is compromised. It is a nightmare scenario for Harry, who knows his children, once symbols of his breakaway royal life, are now being used as the sharpest weapon against him. And then comes the financial dimension. Donors and sponsors aligned with Harry's projects, particularly the Invictus Games, are quietly reassessing. Already weary of Sussex drama, they are questioning whether association with Harry risks reputational harm. If even the Invictus Games, a charity born from Harry's genuine military service, begins to distance itself, then his last stronghold crumbles. Meghan may still spin narratives of victimhood, but without the Invictus brand, Harry loses the moral credibility that once set him apart from royal theatrics. What makes Tom Bower's revelation uniquely damaging is the way it feeds into pre-existing fractures in Harry's story. Critics now connect us that once seemed unrelated. Meghan's refusal to produce birth certificates immediately, the staged photo shoots that appeared heavily controlled, Harry's defensiveness when never questions about the children surfaced. In the world of public perception, these fragments no longer stand alone. They form a picture, one that suggests deception, concealment, and manipulation. Through it all, Harry's silence has become deafening. Where once he would rush to camera or pen an emotional statement, this time there is nothing. No Instagram post, no carefully orchestrated podcast, no Oprah-style rebuttal. Instead, whispers suggest lawyers have been consulted. Some say Harry fears that confront Bower directly might force legal discovery, a process that could compel proof and expose secrets no one is ready to reveal. Better to hide in silence, even if that silence screams louder than words. But the public is relentless. Online forums buzz with speculation. Journalists trawl through archives, and former royal staffers begin hinting that they knew more than they ever revealed. Each day without clarification feels like confirmation, and Harry's once loyal fan base begins to fracture. For some, it is unbearable to think the Sussex story might rest on deception. For others, the scandal is only proof of what they long suspected, that Harry and Meghan's brand was built on illusion all along. And in the midst of it all, one question lingers in every whispered conversation. If Tom Bower is right, then what becomes of Archie and Lilibet? Their innocence is undisputed, but the legitimacy of their royal status and the decisions their parents made are now under a microscope like never before. The children who were meant to represent a new chapter for the monarchy may instead become the lightning rods for its most dangerous modern scandal.